Hi, today's problem is if the frequency of the red-green colorblind males in population is 0.20, what is the frequency of the red-green colorblind females in this population? What proportion of the females could have red-green colorblind sons? And in order to solve this problem, we have to use a Hardy-Weinberg formula. If you know this formula and how to apply it, you can try to solve this problem on your own, and when you would be ready, you can run video again and you can compare your answer with my answer and explanation. So here is a formula. So F here stands for the frequency, and frequency of the three genotypes would equal to P squared plus 2PQ plus Q squared, where P squared stands for the homozygous dominant genotype and 2PQ stands for the heterozygous genotype and Q squared stands for the homozygous recessive genotype. And all this should equal to 1. And all the alleles P in this gene pool plus all the alleles Q would equal to 1. Once again, P stands for the dominant allele A and Q stands for the recessive allele A. What we know about this genetic disorder, that this is gender specific, so males have genotype that is XY and females has a genotype that is XX, and of course if male would have this genetic disorder and this is X linked genetic disorder, so for example on this X chromosome would have one defective gene, so male would be colorblind. But if female for example would have genetic disorder on one of the X chromosomes, she would be phenotypically normal because this is recessive genetic disorder, so she might be of the three different genotypes, so she can be homozygous dominant for this genetic disorder, so would be phenotypically normal. She can be heterozygous and would be also phenotypically normal but would be carrier, and female can be also homozygous recessive and would express this genetic disorder. But male cannot be homozygous dominant for this genetic disorder because male's genotype is XY, so he cannot have two alleles for this genetic disorder because this is X specific, and he also cannot be heterozygous for the same reasons, but he can express this genetic disorder even if he has one X chromosome. So if the frequency of this genetic disorder in males would be 0.20, and by the way there can be two scales. On one scale this can be between 0 and 1, and another scale it can be between 0 and 100%, so 1 would equal to 100%. In some problems you're given numbers in percentages and other on the different scale between 0 and 1, as in our example, so you can easily convert any numbers from one system to another one just by multiplying all the numbers by 100 or dividing them by 100. So if the frequency of this genetic disorder in males is 0.20, we can find the frequency of this genetic disorder in females, because females have two X chromosomes, so this in females we would need two X chromosomes that would have two recessive alleles. So we have to multiply this number by itself. So Q squared would equal in females to 0.20 also squared, and the answer would be 0.04, and this is frequency of the homozygous recessive females in this particular group. So we also can find heterozygous females for this genetic disorder. So as long as we know number Q, and this is going to be number Q, not Q squared, because here Q would equal to Q squared in males, but not in females. So the Q would equal to 0.2, and using this formula we can find frequency of the P allele or dominant allele A. So we just have to rearrange this formula, and P would equal to 1 minus Q. So P would equal to 1 minus 0.2. So P would equal to 0.8. Now when we know the frequency of the Q allele and frequency of the P allele, and this is going to be small a and capital A here, we can find frequency of the heterozygous form of this genetic disorder in female. So we have to multiply 2 by number P and Q, and this is going to be 2, and P is 0.8, and we have to multiply by number Q, that is 0.2, and the answer here would be 0.32, and this is frequency of the females that would be heterozygous for this genetic disorder. And the genotype going to be capital A, small a. So now in order to find to answer the second question, what proportion of females could have red-green colorblind sons, we have to add two numbers, number of females that is homozygous recessive for this genetic disorder, and number of the females that is going to be heterozygous for this genetic disorder. So we have to add 2pq plus q squared, or 0.32 plus 0.04, and this is going to be homozygous recessive. So as you see, the answer would be 0.36, and this is going to be answer for the second question, and this is answer for the first question. So frequencies here would be 0.32, and this frequency here, 0.20, is a frequency in males, so we can cross out, and frequency of the homozygous recessive females would be 0.04, and both these two groups of females would be able to have sons that is going to express this genetic disorder, and homozygous recessive females would have 100% sons that would going to express this genetic disorder, and females that is going to be heterozygous for this genetic disorder would have 50% of chances that their sons would express this genetic disorder. And here is the explanation why. So, for example, imagine that we have normal male and we have a female that is going to be heterozygous for this genetic disorder and would belong to this group. And when we build a Punnett square, we would see that 50% of such cross, of course, would be females and 50% would be males. But as you see, all the females would be phenotypically normal. Those 50% of them would be carriers, but 100% of them would be normal, and 50% of the males would express this genetic disorder because they would have only one X chromosome. And now imagine a second group of females that is going to be homozygous recessive for this genetic disorder. So once again, if we have one normal male and female that is going to be affected with this genetic disorder and would be homozygous recessive, and such cross would produce different results. And as you see here, we would have X defective, X with defective allele, and this is going to be female that is going to be phenotypically normal, but would be carrier. Here we would have also phenotypically normal female that going to be also carrier, and 100% of the males would inherit this defective X chromosome from female, because both of X chromosomes are defective or with defective allele. So 100% of the sons here would express this genetic disorder. And in a case when a female are heterozygous, 50% of her sons would express this genetic disorder. And by the way, if we need to give an answer as a percentage, so according to these proportions here, where 1 equal to 100%, this answer can be converted in percentage form. So we have to multiply by 100 or move this decimal point 2 places to the right. So the answer would be 4%. And here, if we move decimal point to 2 places to the right, the answer would be 36%. So we just multiply this number by 100. And this is all for today. Thank you for your attention. Please subscribe for my new videos that I post almost every day. Thumbs up if you like this video. Goodbye.